wanna ride. So baby, get with me, 'cause this party goes on all night. You never get this right, 'cause when you're rolling with a G, 'cause this party goes on all night.
Hello and good day, everyone. Welcome to the Real Source Podcast, and I'm your host, JD. And today is episode 8. And in episode 8, we will be discussing, should Trump be allowed to change the Constitution and run for a third term? Now, the Constitution is something that has been created for us to give us a guideline to society, right? For us to follow as a whole. But yet that Constitution doesn't necessarily apply to all of us. It applies to those who are in power, if you want to be more direct. The fact that this man is doing what he's doing, and many presidents before him have tried to change the Constitution as well. Barack Obama is also one of them that tried to change the Constitution. Funny how Donald Trump tried to expose him, and then he became the president right afterwards. I don't know. That's just kind of weird to me. But for him to do something like that would be ushering in a totalitarian system, which is basically a system that has one dictator, one ruler, one religion, and one group of people governed by one government. That's for the world. And I kind of feel like that's a little more what he's leaning towards. Now, not to say that he'll be successful in my lifetime or in your kid's lifetime or even after that. But the fact that that has been in play since his first term and now he's in his second term, I could kind of see what direction he's trying to go. And it's basically to fuck us all over. You know, and I love when people talk about, I'm the same sign. Listen, I'm the same sign as Donald Trump. Donald Trump's a Gemini. I'm a Gemini. Kanye West is a Gemini. I have nothing in common with either of them because as brilliant as they may be, Kanye mainly, Donald Trump's a fucking idiot. And any man that's going to sit up there and say that, well, if my daughter wasn't my daughter, I'd marry her too. That says something about what kind of character you have as a leader of this corporation of a country. Because get it right, y'all. This ain't a country. This is a corporation. And we are slaves through indentured services. So the more and more you start picking up some books to read about what's really, really going on, then maybe you won't be bamboozled by a whole bunch of idiotic conversation and talk that comes out of this man's mouth.
You're not happy with your t-shirt order? No problem, we print on customer supplied shirts too. At Reload Graphics, we bring your ideas to life with vibrant, high-quality printing. Whether it's one shirt or 100, your brand will look its best. Trust us to handle the printing, so you can focus on making an impact. Reload Graphics, where we bring your ideas to life.
So topic 2. Why does Trump have such a large minority backing? Well, and I'm probably going to say this the rawest way I can, is because a bunch of motherfuckers is stupid and don't have no sense and no logic. You know, in the 80s, he hung out with blacks, hung out with Jesse Jackson, Lawrence Taylor, and I think as black people, we love to have someone that we could connect to that is the opposite of us, color-wise, because he's a cool white boy, The truth be told is he's always been in the mix and always has been in the field because he liked the attention. And as deviously idiotic he is, he's also deviously, I don't want to say intelligent, but I'll say manipulative. He knew that in New York City, if you can get the minorities, right, by your side, they'll be by your side to the end. So I think because a lot of black people and a lot of Hispanic people, brown people in general, whether darker shades of brown or lighter shades of brown that live in America, namely live in New York, I think he says things that appeal to us And we follow that. We don't look at what kind of businessman he was, which he's a terrible businessman. He's bankrupt all the time. He only had one building that was actually under his name. That's that Park Avenue one. The rest of them were given by other people. Or he was allowed to put his name on them. So, I think we, as black people, we connect with anybody we think that's gangster, and because he comes across, because, he's so tough and, he's always destroying people in these debates. If you really pay attention in between to what it is that he's saying, the motherfucker ain't making no damn sense. He's dumb as hell, okay? When your own mama says in the newspaper, I hope my son does not enter politics, because if he does, it will be a disaster. You see, as a person who's born into this world, there's two people that know you better than anybody else, and that's mama and that's your grandma. So when your mama talks about you, or when mama talks about their kids, more than likely she's right. And she was dead on with this man. And, he did his little showing in Soul Train, did a little dance down Soul Train, had all the brothers and the sisters, being all caught up in him. I don't know what kind of dance that was that he did in Soul Train, because that shit looked retarded. He was all over the damn place. He looked like he was going through electric shock. But nevertheless, I digress. Again, and I'm not speaking for the minority of the majority of intellectual people that come from, my culture. I'm speaking about the people that are not that group and that get upset whenever you put them on Front Street because they're not equipped. The people that I'm talking about are the same people that when they get stopped by the police say, I know my rights. Well, if you knew your rights, you wouldn't have to say you knew your rights. You could just scream out article this number this, and then the police would leave you alone. But see, this is how we've been manipulated and controlled, with people like him, in the system. They promise you everything, they get in, and then once they get in, they wasn't thinking about your ass to begin with. So all the tariffs, all the laws that are being passed to take away people's rights, we're going to see how thorough y'all really are. The people in the government that's making things worse for us instead of killing each other, or at least fight for something that's going to be beneficial for us as humankind. So with that being said, Trump is a fool. And if you follow him, you a fool too.
You're not happy with your t-shirt order? No problem, we print on customer supplied shirts too. At Reload Graphics, we bring your ideas to life with vibrant, high-quality printing. Whether it's one shirt or 100, your brand will look its best. Trust us to handle the printing, so you can focus on making an impact. Reload Graphics, where we bring your ideas to life.
Topic 3, y'all. How can voters come together to create a more honest ballot? Well, they can't. That's the simple answer. See, in this country, presidents aren't elected. They're selected. They're put into position to become the president. So they got you confused, and this corporation of a country is very deviously brilliant. They follow Sun Tzu's Art of War. And one of the things that Sun Tzu stresses in the Art of War is you give the people the depiction of what you want them to see. Meanwhile, in the background, you're doing something else. The other thing is to give civilians belief that they have power in the choice of who their leaders are going to be when they really don't. So I'll give you an example. The electoral votes. The electoral votes can shift and slide who it is that is supposed to be the president whenever they choose to. Prime example, Al Gore with George Bush. Who won that? George Bush, but Al Gore was beating him. John Kerry with George Bush Jr. Both were George Bush Jr. So let me reiterate that. George Bush Jr. with Al Gore beat him when Al Gore had the votes. John Kerry and George Bush Jr. Well, John Kerry, who's also George Bush's cousin, beat him. Stepped down, and who got it after that? George Bush Jr. Give you another one. Your boy, Donald Trump. Hillary beat him. Right? And he became the president. See, as much as this country likes to express feminism and they like to show equal rights, the people that run this corporation of a country do not want a woman in charge. Not Hillary, not Kamala, not Oprah, not whoever you can think of. So they give you guys this illusion to make you think that your vote counts. They give you this illusion that there's hope in this person. You believe in this person. So I'll say this quite simply. Real leaders are people persons, right? That I will say. It doesn't require you to have a degree. I mean, look at Donald Trump. He doesn't have a degree in anything. He has a degree on shitting on people and robbing people. That's what he's best known for. And being racist as well, too. You know, because he didn't want to give black people apartments and Mexican or any brown-skinned person in the early 80s apartments in his building, because those buildings are not owned by him. So when you start to realize what it is that you're dealing with and the type of person that is representing this corporation of a country, you have to dig a little bit. You know, you have to read, you have to educate yourself on how this system works. And your vote doesn't necessarily account unless it's for a mayor, a senator, governor, anybody that's within the city council or the statesman. But when it comes to overall corporation of a country vote, they done already made up their mind who it is that they want to win. You know, it's just like your favorite football game, you know, where it's rigged. You know, and then they'll let somebody rock for a long time, and then all of a sudden there'll be a newcomer that comes up that knocks off, you know, the old head. So what I say is this: you want to do something about who's in charge, be ready to fight and be ready to die for your freedom. Up next, did you know? Don't go anywhere. You'll find out soon. Did you know Major Taylor was an American professional cyclist? He has been called the first Black American global sports superstar. Taylor won the 1 mile sprint event at the 1899 World Track Championships to become the first African American to achieve the level of cycling in world champion and second Black athlete to win a world championship in any sport. Thank you for tuning in into the Real Source Podcast. I'm your host, JD. If you like the episode, please share with a friend or subscribe at YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. Be kind, be well, be safe. I'm out.
I know you wanna ride, so baby, get with me.